All right, let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome. It is April 3rd. This is the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. I'm Aaron Mays. I'm currently serving as chairman, and I represent District 3. On my left is Commissioner Bill Rippon, representing District 1. On my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook, representing District 2. Good morning to both of you. At the end of the table down here, we have our County Councilor, Rich Eckert, and then Chris Otto, representing the clerk's office. So good morning to both of you. One item I want to point out before we get started, on our agenda we had a last minute addition, item number J, which is a commissioner's letter of support for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Topeka and their grant application for community service tax credits to support the Adams Club Adventure Oasis project. Is there any objection to adding that?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that will be added, and let's go ahead and get started. First item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
We do have several items on the consent agenda. If there's no objections to any of those, I would move for approval.
I'll second. I might note just that our letter of proclamation supporting this morning the National Child Abuse Prevention Month, which is the explanation for the pinwheels in the front of the room. So.
They don't spin as well as you'd hope, but okay, great. I appreciate that. Thank you. So we do have a motion by Commissioner Mays and a second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Okay, today's vouchers totaled $3,894,232.51. Significant payments include $398,554.65 to Ecom Inc., which is a construction progress payment for work on the pump stations funded by the Sherwood Regional Water District. $513,333.40 to KBS Constructors, Inc. is the state's portion of the monthly progress payment for construction of the Department of Corrections mental health facility, and $81,900 to Guardian Electric LLC for the energy efficiency lighting project that is funded by the EECBG grant and facilities management. If there's no questions or comments, I would move that we approve the vouchers.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Rippon and a second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Before we do the next item, I do want to just say, I know we do have some folks from KCSL here. Would you guys be good, like, saying something during our public comment about what we're here for? Okay, thank you. All right, next item, please.
Number 2, consider correction orders.
I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mays and second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, bond council, number 1, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2025-29, authorizing Shawnee County to issue multifamily housing revenue bonds, Union at Tower District, in a principal amount not to exceed $65 million.
Morning, Bob Perry. Before we consider this resolution, we'll have to have a public hearing. The purpose of this resolution would authorize the issuance of the industrial revenue bonds to be called multifamily housing revenue bonds. The proceeds from the bonds will be used to acquire, construct, and improve a multifamily facility that's basically southeast of the corner of Southeast Quincy and 11th Street, just east of the big water tower downtown. It's being constructed by a single-purpose entity, which is an affiliate of a group called the Annex Group. It's a real estate development group out of Indianapolis, Indiana, whose basic purpose is to construct, build, and manage multifamily housing units across the United States. according to their website, it's over $50 million worth of assets under their present management. This will be a 250-unit facility consisting of 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. They're going to get a portion of the equity from the sale of low-income tax credits to investors, and that will help leverage the economics of this. The purpose of these bonds will allow them to get a sales tax exemption for the exemption for material supplies, which would otherwise be subject to sales tax. With that, we'll have to have a public hearing in order to comply with certain provisions of the tax code, and after that, you can consider the passage of the resolution.
Questions for Bob?
I do not.
Okay. I will make a motion that we open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. We're in a public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this? Opposed? Neutral? So we've talked about this many times before, so perhaps that's why nobody's standing up, but
I think for the record also, Aaron, I ought to mention that on Tuesday, the city council approved the creation of a reinvestment housing incentive district for this project, which is a modified tax increment TIF type financing to allow the developer to basically recoup a portion of the costs that were approved by the city on Tuesday. Yeah, you know, I mean, a $60 million investment in a couple of blocks that sat empty for 40-plus years is something I think that the city of Topeka ought to enjoy.
yeah, this is, it is going to be kind of an exciting project, and my understanding is that the rents on this project's going to be relatively attainable for most people as well, so.
Well, with the tax credits being received to be sold to the investors, there are certain percentages of fair market value that they cannot exceed in order to make the housing affordable for low and moderate income families.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a nice project. Any other questions, or, all right, I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing.
And adopt?
Can we do that in the same motion? Do you
I would
prefer?
prefer separate motions,
Okay.
quite frankly, for Robert's rules.
Second to close.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Mays to close, second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. All right, and then now I will make a second motion that we approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item C, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval to issue a request for proposal for professional services to develop a comprehensive department-wide master plan update. The current master plan expired at the end of 2024, and an updated plan is essential to guide future development, programming, and operations.
Good morning, Tim Laurent, Director, Parks and Recreation Department. So yeah, I'm asking for your permission to go out for an RFP to find out what it will cost us to update our now expired master plan. The clerk mentioned several of the reasons why we think this is important. Probably the only one she didn't touch on is that we are an accredited agency. Again, there's less than 2% of agencies across the country that are accredited. So in our minds, it's a big deal. And one of the requirements of that is that we have a current master plan. But I don't want to, I think it's important other than that, just to have a master plan that serves as a roadmap about how we move forward. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Commissioner Rippon.
To keep accreditation, how often do they expect us to update our master plan? How often do we?
We just, under the requirements, we're just required to have a current master plan. So,
Current master
yeah.
plan? We don't know what that means, though.
Well, so if let's, in my mind, I'm thinking that we're going to go out for, if we do this and we move forward, we'll have a 5-year master plan. Our last one was 10 years. I think 10 years is a little too long personally, but so we would be doing this again in 5 years if this is approved.
So is this master plan, are they starting from scratch, or is this?
I think we're updating the old
Updating.
one. Yeah,
Good.
so it won't start completely from scratch.
Okay.
Commissioner Cook, you have anything?
Well, 10 years ago, John Knight stood before us and told us that archery was going to be the next hottest thing, and we should be investing in all of our parks with archery. He missed the mark on that one. We should have invested in pickleball. It was close, archery and pickleball, but I understand where a 10-year plan, because you're looking at trends, you're looking at what investments you need to make. 10 years ago, pickleball was not at the forefront it is today. 10 years from now, pickleball may not be at the forefront that it is today. Trends come and go. If you look across our county at all the tennis courts that we built during the 90s, and that tennis, there are very used tennis facilities, but we have a lot of tennis courts that are not as used, and that could be used for other purposes.
Like
so we have to,
pickleball.
like pickleball, but we need to keep making sure that our community is active and engaged. So.
You mentioned tennis. We found that if you have clusters of tennis courts, they're used a lot. Individual tennis courts aren't used much. It's just the nature of the beast.
Right.
And, so yes, a lot of them been converted into basketball courts and pickleball and whatnot.
There's a social aspect to it.
There
They
is.
want to be around other people. And,
Yes.
yeah.
So anyway,
So I got out the master plan from 2014, and it did say that squash was an up-and-coming sport, which I think is sort of pickleball adjacent, maybe.
Maybe.
But, Tim, you and I have talked about, I question the necessity of a master plan, and I also question the necessity of accreditation. I feel like if only 2% of departments are accredited, it's probably for lack of trying, I think, in a lot of cases, because it is an expensive process, and I know it's a great source of pride for the department, but I sometimes think that we spend a lot of money on consultants that we shouldn't. Now, having said that, I think that because this is an update to the master plan and we're not starting from scratch, I think I would be interested in seeing what it's going to cost.
Right.
I'm not telling you that I will vote for it once
Sure.
it comes back from an RFP process, but I want to see what this is going to cost us, because that makes a big difference in my mind.
Right.
I think that sometimes, they want us to spend $100,000 for basically a glorified PowerPoint presentation in a lot of cases, and so I don't want to pay that if we can help it. So.
Well, let me also touch on that. I think we didn't list a funding source in here, but I think that I'm fairly confident that we'll be able to fund this 3 ways. I mean, part of it will come out of our budget. There'll be a portion that I hope will come out of the Gage Park Improvement Authority funds, and there'll be a portion that'll come out of the Parks for All Foundation. So I think that'll help defray the cost to a certain extent. We won't be asking for additional funds to do this. So hopefully that will weigh favorably in your thought process.
I think it'll certainly help. I also, when you look back at what was going on with our Parks and Rec department in 2014, it was, I think, absolutely necessary then because of the merger. I mean, there was no path forward without it. And so I feel like it was needed at that time. I mean, looking through it, I see that we've accomplished many of the things on there. There's still some needs. Things that we all are aware of that need to be done still, that we don't need a consultant to tell us about. So certainly something to consider when this comes around. Any other questions for Tim?
No, I think let's go out for the RFP. Let's see what it shows. So I'll make a motion to adopt
I'll second.
or approve, I guess.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 2, consider approval of contract C-146, 2025, to replace 3 vehicles that have reached the end of their lease and lease 11 vehicles utilizing the current enterprise fleet agreement. C-226, 2017. The additional vehicles would increase the annual agreement by a maximum of $184,500 with funding from the operating budget.
Tim Laurent, Director, Parks and Recreation Department. So I do have Brent Holsetter here with me today, so if you have questions that I'm not able to answer, I'll bring Brent up. But I think this is fairly straightforward. This is a continuation of our lease program. We did budget for this year, so we can fund this through our budget. And as the clerk said, we're replacing some vehicles that are at the end of their lease, and then some other vehicles that really are at the end of their useful life. So I would be happy to answer any questions, or attempt to anyway, and if I can't, then I'll bring Brent up.
So the vehicles that we're replacing, these are vehicles that we own currently?
There are
and we
3 that are
replacing them
leased,
with leased, okay.
and then the remaining ones we currently own. Correct.
Which is 11 vehicles,
Correct.
okay.
Yeah, and those 11, they range from, actually from 15 years old to 30 years old.
Yeah,
So,
I've got the
yeah.
list here, and yeah, we're going back to 2003.
1995.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not in order, okay. So, and these are big trucks too. I mean, this is a Chevy 3500. I mean, if you look at the agenda item and it looks like we're spending $184,000. However, if we were to go out and buy these trucks, it would be outrageously expensive.
Substantially higher than that.
So, okay. Any other questions?
No.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 3, consider approval of Contract C-142, 2025, amendment to Contract C-24, 2025 with RCI Adventure Products for the addition of ADA and Little Climbers Net Play to the Gage Park Playland Aerial Adventure Trail in the amount of $255,500 for the final contract price of $1,535,500, funding from the Gage Park Improvement Authority funds.
Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Director. So yeah, back in January, we started this process with RCI, and during that commission meeting, we laid out the adventure trail that runs through Gage Park, through Playland area. Every time we talk about this now, I want to make sure that I mention that this does not impact Animal Land at all, which is the big concrete animals in Gage Park. That's a question I always get. So this is in Playland on the other side of the depot there, the train depot. But I was directed to come back with a final price and a final design, and that's what I would like to do today. This map here that you're looking at is the map we've been tweaking ever since. As I move forward to the next slide, I'm trying this. I know that there's a lot on this map, so to try to make sense of it, these items that I've highlighted are all ground level play structures, so they're not the Sky Trail. But that is important when we start to talk about ADA accessibility, and which we're going to do here in a minute. So I believe there are 9 different pods of ground level play structures there, highlighted in yellow. On the next slide, that just gives you a bird's eye view of the Sky Trail and where it starts and ends, and how it runs through Playland. This area that is circled here is the new addition that we added since we were here last. And primarily, I'm going to go back to that previous slide. Originally, we had 10 ground level playground pods. I mentioned that we have 9 because we took one out to make room for this addition. Instead of putting a separate piece of playground equipment there, we've added this to the Sky Trail, and the reason we've done that is that to try to help make this an ADA accessible piece. I want to say right from the top that this doesn't make the entire Sky Trail ADA accessible. This area, the area that is not in green, there's this section right here, that is for small kids, but there are things in there that are not necessarily accessible. It's not a hard surface floor. There's nets and things you got to climb through and this and that in there. However, all of these sections here are ADA accessible. And this right here is how you would enter. So that's ground level ramp. The slopes are all accessible. These areas here where you might turn around in a wheelchair, those radiuses are all accessible. This flooring is accessible. And although we don't show it in this particular slide, here's a better version that you can kind of see what that's going to look like. There again is the ground level entry point, and that's that entire triangle area. And then if you entered here and you wanted to or able to go up to the rest of the tower, that's how you would access it. That's one of the ways you could access it. You could actually come in here, come all the way over, and then gradually work your way up to the Sky Trail. So it does connect. Just another photo. What I was starting to say earlier is that on these towers, if you remember right, there were 3 of them. There will be some play features added on those as well. So, for instance, this is what we're looking at. That is a roller slide that could come off of one of those towers. And we've identified 2 or 3 other things. We're working with some playground manufacturers right now, because that gets a little bit tricky when you try to add equipment from one manufacturer to a playground structure made by a different manufacturer. But we're fortunate enough that we've been able to find some folks that are willing to try to work with us to figure this out, because this is very much a custom structure. So it requires a little bit of outside the box thinking. Okay, so that's the end of my slide. It did raise the overall cost of the project, so we're at a little over 1.5 million. If we get approval today, we'll immediately then start working on some engineering and an RFP to do the footings for the Sky Trail structure. That would be the next step. But we do think that we could have this, if things progress forward, we should be able to get this complete before the end of the year. So with that, I'm sure you have questions, and I'll do my best to answer them.
Commissioner Mays. Tim, the slide that we're looking at right now,
Oh, yeah.
the slide we were looking at, the slide
Yeah.
we're looking at right now, the roller, I thought that we were getting away from roller type activities in parks due to pinching and injuries.
Well, they did for a time, but the new designs, you don't have those issues anymore that you used to have with the old roller slides. So they're safe, they meet all the safety standards, they'll fit in nicely with all of our existing and future equipment.
Okay. Like I said, I know that we've removed roller slides even in parks that, that I've been as a commissioner, in different, some of our playground equipments, we've removed the rollers just due to pinching and different
Right.
injuries.
Right. Well, it's like merry-go-rounds. That's another example. There's some merry-go-rounds out there that aren't that don't meet the safety standards, and they've come in and created a whole new generation of merry-go-rounds that do. So.
I want to ask you about warranty. What kind of warranty are they giving us on this? We're spending a lot of just.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it was 5 years. Okay, well, that's good.
5 years?
I asked
Okay.
because I thought it was 2 years. But I will tell you this. So 5 years on the warranty, and then we are required to have this inspected annually. And the group that we're working with will come in and do that. So I think the 5-year warranty is good, but we're also going to be watching it extremely close.
Okay. And what about liability, or how much do you?
Yeah, I don't think we have any more liability on something like this than we would any other playground structure. So as long as we're doing our due diligence, the same situation that would apply here as a family park or any other park with our equipment.
But I mean, the manufacturer, what,
Oh,
do they
yeah.
have a liability insurance?
I'll
on
have to
these?
look into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know in the past, some of them had pretty high liability insurance, which is
Yeah.
good. And,
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay, two things.
Yeah.
On the roller slide, I've been bugging Tim about adding a roller slide back to Gage Park since I
Yeah.
got here. And so I'm happy to see it. Those of us that grew up going to Gage Park in the 1980s, we miss it. And so,
You can go down it first. Well, let's do that.
what's
Yeah.
that?
You go down it
I'll
first.
send my kids down before I get on there. But the other thing, I did have a question, not this slide, but the one that had kind of the elevated or the side view.
Help me out, Stephanie.
Well, I'll go ahead and describe what I saw, but on the
She's opening it back up.
slide, that sort of kind of twister slide there, there was a surround,
Yeah,
and
right there.
it looks like it's made of netting, which seems like it kind of encourages climbing rather than discourages
I'm glad you
climbing.
brought that up. I don't anticipate that's how that's going to look when we build it. And I think I know the reason that they're showing that is they're trying to discourage people from climbing on the outside of the tube slides.
Which makes sense.
Right, and there's other ways to do that. And I agree wholeheartedly, that's the conversation we've had internally many times, that by putting that fence up or that net up, you're just going to encourage people to climb on it. So that will change.
Okay, all right, good to know.
Coach, what are you doing underneath this thing? I mean, you probably don't need false, or that
You
surface.
don't- You don't need fall,
Are
so.
we gonna try to mow under it? And then
I-
there's areas where you're not gonna be able to get a mower under there.
Asphalt.
Right. It's so hard to see, on this design, but as you start to, yeah. Again, we're talking about putting in, like, for instance, as you come into the park, here's a new sidewalk that would lead you into this play area. This is the triple zip line that you approved previously, and the crab trap and a swing set. So this will all be pour-in-place safety surfacing, and you can see how this kind of skirts around that. We were careful to keep this tree right here because we think that this area would be a nice landscape area around this tree. There's actually another sidewalk here that can bring you into this area. There's another little walkway here. So all of this will just be, the Sky Trail will just be going over this. It will not impact it. The bottom of it's 11 feet tall. So you've got plenty of clearance.
I think I was more concerned with the areas that are lower, where we have like the ADA access. And
Yeah, there won't be any, those are too low to do anything under. Yeah, you're
ground
right.
cover or
And those,
something.
I think they do get up to about 7-8 feet on one end, that back end.
Yeah.
But I'm not anticipating there being anything under there other than probably grass or, maybe mulch. It's an area that we really aren't gonna, right now, we don't have any plans to try to attract kids underneath that area. I'm sure they'll go underneath it, but that'll be okay, so.
Other questions?
No.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item D, Public Works, number 1. Consider approval of contract C-143-2025 relating to a negotiated price from Bettis Asphalt and Construction for up to 8,000 tons of BM2A hot mix asphalt for purchase in 2025 at a unit cost of $73.15 per ton, subject to asphalt oil price adjustment, and a potential maximum expenditure of $585,200. Funding will depend on where the material is being used.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. As you know, from late last year, I asked for permission to negotiate a price with Bettis for hot mix asphalt, and the reason for that is, quite frankly, they're the only supplier locally. And they're the only supplier that have bid previously over the last 3 or 4 years for asphalt. Last year, they bid. They were the sole bidder again. And then I negotiated with them a slight decrease in price. This year, we just went with a negotiated price, as you approved late last year. We came up with $73.15 per ton. It does represent a $2.15 increase over last year. I think considering what asphalt oil prices are doing right now, that's a fair price. And I look forward to your questions. Hopefully that will lead to approval.
Questions?
No, I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Rippon and a second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 2, consider approval of contract C-144-2025 relating to a negotiated price from Bettis Asphalt and Construction for up to 8,000 gallons of SS1H emulsified asphalt road oil for purchase in 2025 at a unit cost of $8.50 per gallon and a potential maximum expenditure of $68,000. Funding will depend on where the material is being used.
Kurt Nance, Director of Public Works. Ditto to the last item. Bettis is really the only local supplier. We paid $8.50 a gallon last year, and that was just going up to the facility and buying oil. This year, the negotiated price was the same, $8.50. The advantage is hopefully we avoided a price increase from last year. Any questions?
Nope.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 3, consider awarding bid to Bettis Asphalt and Construction, Inc. for 32,100 square yards of HMA cold milling and sweeping on South Topeka Boulevard from the Osage County line to 1,440 feet north of 93rd Street.
Yep, this is going to be our internal project for this year. We need help with the milling and sweeping, and that's where Bettis comes into play. We issued an RFQ for quotations on providing the milling and sweeping. We received one bid from Bettis. The unit price was $1.95 per square yard, which I think is a very favorable price. With that, I look forward to approval, and if you have any questions, I'd be willing to answer them.
Any questions?
None.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item 5, public comment.
All right. Come on up.
Good morning. I'm Amber Miller, and I'm the director of Kansas Children's Service League. I appreciate you all having us here this morning. And in April, we celebrate the importance of child abuse prevention. And this year is themed by our Powered by Hope and Strengthened by Prevention. We as a community all have a responsibility to ensure children grow up healthy, happy, and free from abuse and neglect. Stronger families start at Kansas Children's Service League. Our mission is to promote and protect the well-being of children. We are the Kansas chapter of Prevent Child Abuse America, a national organization working to end child abuse and neglect of our nation's children. Our programs work with children and families in the areas of health, safety, and education to succeed and break the cycles of abuse, neglect, and trauma. And the pinwheel that you have in front of you serves as a physical reminder of great childhoods we want for all children. And we'd ask everyone, tomorrow is Wear Blue Day to promote child abuse prevention, and so we'd ask you all to join us. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, any other members of the public wishing to speak today? Seeing none, next item, please.
Item 6, administrative communications.
Any administrative communications?
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director of the Health Department. I am here to announce that next week is the 30th celebration of National Public Health Week. It will run April 7th through the 13th. Each day we'll have a particular public health topic focus, so follow our social media channels. We'll be having lots of interactive opportunities and ways to know what's going on with the community and how you can make an impact. In addition to that, as part of that celebration, we are hosting an open house next week. It will be on Tuesday, April 8th. It's going to be from 3 to 6 p.m. at our J.P. Lewis location with the address up there. This is an opportunity for anyone who may not be completely sure what public health is about and what we do to come. This is going to be a time to meet all of our staff. We're going to have interactive displays. We'll have some light refreshments, some giveaways. So we hope to see clients. We hope to see our partners there. We hope to see the community there. This is an opportunity to come have a conversation with us and about what public health means in our community.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Anyone else? Seeing none. Commissioner Rippon?
I have nothing to add.
Commissioner Cook?
I do not.
All right. Nothing for me either. Next item, please.
Executive sessions.
We do not have a need for executive session today, so we are adjourned.